Hey guys, welcome back to another What's for Dinner or Week of Meals, whatever you want to call it. I've got some quick and easy meal ideas with a few new recipes in there to share with you. So let's get started. For tonight's dinner, I did not show making this because it's just more of a meal idea, but we just had taco salads. For us, we like to do regular salads like lettuce, tomato, cucumber, carrots, everything. And then I just cooked up some taco meat with some onion and seasoned it accordingly, topped with some cheese and sour cream. And I think Jesse put on some like taco sauce and salsa. But yeah, quick and easy dinner. Today was my grocery day. Jesse wanted to show you his beautiful salad. Okay. Today was my grocery day. So, and as you can see, it's 9 o'clock, after 9 o'clock. So I wanted something quick and easy, and that's dinner for tonight. All right, guys, so for tonight's dinner, we're going to be having cheeseburger loaded Tatchos, is what I'm calling it. This is inspired from Jess at Jess and the Boys. I will have her channel and her video linked down below, so check it out. She did it with French fries, so loaded fries. I don't have any frozen French fries, but I do have some frozen tater tots. So we're gonna do our own spin of what they created. They always create the best food. If you're not subscribed, you definitely should go do that, make that happen. But yeah, so let's get to dinner for tonight. These are the tater tots I'm using. These are from Aldi. This is the rest of the bag. I think this will be plenty for us. I'm using a bigger pan than I normally would because I'm using my silicone mat. We made some of these the other night and I put it on some foil and greased it and they still stuck, which I was very confused by. So I'm gonna use my silicone mat and hopefully that works better. And I think what I'm gonna do is these take about 12 to, I don't know, what did it say? 12 to 15 minutes to cook, and you're supposed to flip them halfway. So I think I'm gonna put them in for half the time and then flip them and then add like the meat and cheese on top for the remainder of the time. That's what we're gonna go with. So we're gonna pop this in the oven at 425 for about 7 minutes. All right, so I'm improvising. The other day I cooked up some ground beef with onion and we didn't use it all for the tacos. So that's all that's left here, but I don't think it's quite enough. So I have a little bit of the taco meat left and I don't think it's going to really, with all the other flavoring that I'm gonna add, I don't think it's gonna affect it that much. So I'm just gonna mix that all together and I think it'll be just fine. So I'm gonna heat this up a little bit. It doesn't have to be piping hot, but I'm gonna heat this up a little bit before we put it on the tater tots. And then we're gonna add some stuff to this. I'm quite certain that Jess and Adam probably did this differently and probably made up a sauce on the oven or on the stove. I can't really remember. Sorry, Jesse's cutting up vegetables and it's very loud on the glass cutting board. But I'm gonna just wing it here. So I'm gonna add in some ketchup, some mustard, some onion powder, some garlic powder, and give this a good mix. All right, so I tasted it. I'm gonna put in just a little bit more ketchup. Jesse's just chopping up some more vegetables. I'm going to add in some, I'm trying to get the little packet out of this. Oh, I was trying to get that out so it didn't fall into the food. I'm putting in some bacon bits. Some fresh cooked bacon would be good. That was really tiny, tiny pieces. I greatly apologize for that noise. I know it's always so much louder on the recording. All right, so I'm adding some more bacon. See, that was much bigger pieces than the other rest of that bag. So, all right, so we've got our meat mixture. If you want, you could chop up pickles in with this too, or you can add it in with the cold stuff, which is what we're going to do. All right, I pulled the tater tots out. You are supposed to flip them halfway. So it's kind of a tedious task, but I'm gonna do it. And this silicone mat is great. It did not stick at all. And I am gonna try to keep them somewhat close together. That way our toppings will all be on them and not falling in between. We like to do this kind of thing just on a sheet pan, and we will eat it straight off of this. You know, like pigs to the trough.
Works extra specially good when you have kids.
Right. Yeah, we highly recommend doing it that way if you've got a house full.
They love it.
But what was I gonna say? What was the whole point of that?
That's how we do it.
Oh, so if you weren't doing that, you could just heat everything up and then assemble your plates. Like bake these. Anyways, I'm gonna stop recording while I finish this tedious task. All right, I got them flipped, and like I said, I'm gonna push them all together so the meat will kind of stay on top of them, and we're going to distribute this meat all over. All right, now we're going to top with cheese. We did some Monterey Jack, but you could use any cheese of your choice. All right, we're gonna pop this back in the oven for about another 6 to 7 minutes. All right, Tatchos are out of the oven. Jesse is very precise in the way that he puts the stuff on. So
That's what side is yours.
Him put this on. So this side's mine. He chopped up the pickles and he's like, is that enough? And I was like, for my side. I really like pickles. We got dill pickles that have been diced up. We just had the like hamburger slices. And now we're gonna put on some lettuce that has been very, very beautifully, I mean, that looks like bagged shredded lettuce. But no, this is just Jesse's handiwork.
And the chopper.
He's the chopper.
Chapo. Now it gets pretty.
And we're gonna add on some tomatoes, which we do less on my side, more on his. I'm actually not a huge tomato fan, but like I try. So I'll have it like in my salad or nachos. I just don't like a lot of it. And then some chopped up banana peppers, and that will be for Jesse's side only. Cheeseburger Tatchos. That's what's for dinner tonight. Thanks for the idea, Jess. Super excited. Jess from Jess and the Boys, not just from this Jess. I'm not sure why he was sad about that. This is how we eat it. We just bring it right to the table, and we do have forks. We'll need forks for these. We don't usually need it for nachos, but sometimes to help scoop stuff on. But eat it right here. Easy cleanup. And that looks so good. All right, guys, so for tonight's dinner, we're gonna be having steaks on the grill, and I wanted to make some potatoes, and I was gonna do smashed potatoes, but then I saw Katt from Southern Farm and Kitchen just the other day do these potatoes, and so I'm gonna try them. They're gonna be in the crock pot, but first off, I need to make more of my ranch seasoning mix because I like to make my own, so I thought I'd share that with you. I did not make this up. I don't remember where I found it. I've been making it for a long time, but I'll put it here in case you wanna like screenshot it. I will say the black pepper is optional just because, you know, I don't ever use it. And that's kind of how you would use it and all that. This is the cultured buttermilk that I use. I'm not sure if this is what the original recipe was intending, but that's what I use. And you do want to make sure you keep this in the refrigerator because once you open this, this is in the dried good aisle, like at Walmart, but once it's open, it does need to be refrigerated. So I refrigerate my mix as well. And as you can see, just about gone there. The dried buttermilk is also a little sticky if you're not familiar with it. But we're gonna add a half a cup of that. We got 1 tablespoon of parsley, 1 teaspoon of dill weed. Sorry, I just realized like this is not even in the shot. Let's adjust the camera. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of minced onion, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, and whoa, that was a lot more than that. 1 teaspoon of salt. Kind of went a little crazy on that. Just gonna shake that up to mix it through. I'm gonna clean up this counter because it's got a little messy from all the seasoning and the dried buttermilk, but there you have it, ranch seasoning mix. And I love, love, love this homemade stuff. As usual, I will have Katt's channel linked below. I always try to link that if I got it from somebody. And I'm also going to be, she didn't have like specific measurements on everything. She kind of cooks like I do with the heart. And I'm also making less than she was. I think she did about a pound or 2 pounds of potatoes. But we're gonna add in, I'm gonna add in about a 1/4 cup of olive oil. I'm gonna do about a packet's worth, so 2 to 3 tablespoons worth of the ranch seasoning. Then she used a Badia combination with some parsley and garlic powder, so I'm just going to use them separately. Some garlic, and I don't have the Badia, but I've got garlic and parsley, and she just said a good amount. So, and then you season salt and pepper to taste. I'm just going to do salt because I don't like pepper. Just gonna mix this all together here. And then you want to coat the potatoes in it. I'm just going to do it right in the crock pot, which I've already greased. And I cut up my little yellow potatoes and put them in there. If you use russet potatoes, she said you would want to, what am I trying to say? Peel the skins. I'm going to use a spatula here just so I don't scrape my slow cooker, because I'm going to pour this over top, but then we're going to toss it really good to make sure everything is coated well. And I figured this will be less work than the smashed potatoes. Not that they're hard work to do, but I can just do this now and be done with it. And when my husband gets home, he'll fire up the grill, and I'm not sure what else we're gonna have, what kind of veggie, but this will be a good start. Maybe we'll do salads, maybe I'll just steam up something. I don't know. All right, there you have it. And she says to put it on low or on high for 3.5 to 4 hours. In the last hour, you take the lid and tip it like this so it's not fully on, and it'll help crisp up the edges, which I've never tried before, but I'm gonna do that today and see how that works. I trust Katt, so I believe it'll work well. All right, so I have our large sirloin steak. We will be sharing this. And I just seasoned it with salt, garlic powder, and onion powder on both sides. And I'm gonna cover this with saran wrap just to, you know, protect it. But I'm gonna let this sit out and get to a little bit to room temperature before we grill it. All right, so per Katt's suggestion, I've got a half an hour to an hour left. Not sure exactly, but you know, about that much time. And we're gonna turn the crock pot lid this way and let them finish going. They smell amazing. All right, so as you can see, some of these potatoes did crisp up. I've never done that, or even thought to try to do that in a crock pot. So thank you, Katt, for that. And now we're going to plate up our dinner. All right, there is my plate. Jesse's is similar, just his steak is cooked a little less. And that's our dinner for tonight. All right, so for tonight's dinner, I'm gonna be making a creamy chicken taco, I think is what it was called, on Rooster's recipe channel. I will have that video linked down below for you. And I am gonna be switching it up a little bit. They used cream of chicken soup. I don't like to use the cream of soups. Feel free to do that if you want. So I'm gonna use sour cream and add in some seasonings. I'm also not doing quite as much chicken as their recipe called for, but let's get to it. Oh, I also don't know if we're gonna use it as nachos or not, but I'm gonna make the mixture and we'll decide later what we're gonna do with it. Okay, so I have my chicken in the crock pot. This was 3 chicken breasts, but they were just smaller. I think the recipe that Rooster's recipe used was 3 larger ones, I believe. But so we're gonna just do a little modification. I think I'm gonna start by seasoning. I'm doing this mainly, well, seasoning is always good, but also because I'm going to use sour cream and not cream of chicken soup. I know they're not the same, the texture is the same, similar, but there's not gonna be like the same seasoning and flavoring. So we're just gonna do some garlic powder, onion powder, and salt. I was also thinking of adding in some taco seasoning, but I'm not totally sure how we're gonna use this yet, so I'm going to skip that. I'm also gonna put in just a few crushed red pepper flakes here as well. I'm gonna add in 1 can of Rotel. The recipe calls for 2. Like I said, I'm not using quite as much chicken. I may add in another can if I feel like there's not enough liquid, so stay tuned. I'm also adding in 1 can of black beans that have been drained and rinsed, or rinsed and drained, however you wanna talk about it. 1 can of corn. This is not in their recipe, but I like corn in this kind of thing, so I figured why not. And since the recipe called for 2 cans of cream of chicken soup, which would be 20 ounces, I'm gonna use sour cream. I'm gonna use the rest of this. This is close, I don't know, it's like 3/4 full. This is 16 ounces. I don't know, do you guys follow my math? Don't know that my math is right, but I'm thinking that this is going to work out just fine. This is not a long time crock pot meal. The recipe, I think they said 2 to 3 hours on high, or like, what is it, 4 to 5 maybe on low, I don't know. I am just gonna put it on high, and I also don't have a ton in here, so I'm thinking 2 to 2.5 hours is gonna be fine. All right, I've got my crock pot base on the other counter, but I'm gonna go put this in there and, like I said, put it on high for probably 2 to 2.5 hours. And then you are also supposed to add cheese in, but I feel like I don't need the cheese in there at the beginning. We'll add that in later. Just keep watching, I'll let you know. All right, so it has been a couple of hours and I'm gonna just try to roughly kind of shred up the chicken, not like pulverize, but I don't think I want the big chunks. So I'm gonna just do this and we're gonna add in the cheese and then I'm just gonna switch it to warm because my husband ate lunch late, so he's not quite ready to eat it yet. There's a little bit more liquid than I thought, so I'll see what it looks like after I put the cheese in. And maybe the chicken's not as, I mean, it's done, but I don't think it's shreddable yet. So I'm just gonna add in a little bit of cheese here. I want the chicken to get a little bit more tender. In crock pots, that's the one time that if meat's not tender, it's not because it's overcooked, it's because you need to cook it longer. And I think it's only been 2 hours and I think the recipe had said 2 to 3. So I am going to, no, maybe I'll just leave it on high. I'm gonna leave it on high for another 30 minutes and then check on it. Ooh, it is bubbling. I'm going to check this again. A little harder to do, I guess, with the cheese, but. Ooh, fogging up the camera. All right, this is definitely breaking up the chicken a little more. I was thinking we could serve this over rice, but it would also be good, like I said, I think we might do it in burritos. You could do it like that, just like a taco, but I think we're gonna pan fry it. But I do want some of this liquid drained off, not drained off, steamed off. So I'm going to, I was gonna turn this to warm, but I think what I'm gonna do is leave it on high and just kind of turn the lid like this so that some of the liquid will evaporate because we're just not quite ready to eat anyway. But you could easily just serve this with a slotted spoon. I don't remember if this is how Carla Mackenzie's looked on her channel, but anyways, that's what we're doing. All right, so I am turning this to keep warm. Definitely absorbed some or evaporated some of the liquid. So that did the trick. All right, so Jesse wants his in a burrito. I've got a large burrito here. I'm just gonna put a little bit of cheese in. There's already some cheese in the mixture, as you saw. Now I'm gonna try to scoop some out without, most of the liquid kind of evaporated, but I am gonna just be careful to not get any liquid for this. I'm going to add a good amount in here. All right, so now we are going to fold this up. You know, better than what I'm doing here. This is usually easier than this. All right, we're gonna put it seam side down. I have a skillet here on medium-low heat, but I already heated it up. Put some avocado oil in the bottom, and we just laid this down here, seam side down. And we're going to let it go for a couple minutes. We wanna get it nice and crispy. Then we'll flip it. We'll be good to go. All right, so this is how I chose to eat mine. I didn't eat mine. This is how I chose to eat mine. I'm not super hungry, I think because I've been snacking. So I just put some in a bowl with a little bit of cheese, sprinkled some of this Trader Joe's chili lime seasoning on top, and I'm gonna eat it with chips. So it's like nachos, but I'm just gonna scoop it and use it more like a dip. And then here is Jesse's pan-fried burrito. And he just has some toppings there on the side. And that's dinner for tonight. All right, well, that's gonna do it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe so that you don't miss out on my future videos, and I'll see you next time. Bye, guys.